Don't you know we all cheer for Magnus Danger
Ladies and gentlemen, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, welcome, one and all, beautiful viewers and fabulous listeners of the Onwards to Victory podcast. It's an exciting time here in this studio, our beautiful, sweet-smelling, strawberry-scented studio, because we happen to have a very talented and charismatic guest. Sitting over directly to my left is just a wonder of hair and tough stickers. He's ready to make you feel fabulous in your pants, and we're going to ask him all about fucking Lego. Yeah, it's going to be one of those episodes. That's right, folks. It's Onwards to Victory. Please put your hands together, as I will, for the fabulous, the incredible Mr. Jackson Harvey. Hey,
Magnus.
Bam. Well, beautiful. So you are, you're amongst those that know you. I mean, this is going to sound really dumb, but amongst those that know you, you're quite famous.
I'd like to think that amongst people who knew me, I was reasonably well known before going on the TV show.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, the going on the TV show definitely brought a bigger public profile than I'd ever had before.
And that TV show was Lego Masters. And season 2, you were part of the team that won the big kahuna, the big Lego prize.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Jackson and Alex tape. Is it Jackson Alex or Alex and Jackson? How
it's
would
a
you...
constant debate between us.
Really?
But yeah. But I think phonetically, Jackson and Alex does sound a little bit better.
As someone who's been in duos before, that's just one of those things you got to just grin and bear it.
There's always one way that sounds better.
It is, yeah. Alex and Jackson just doesn't roll off the tongue quite as well as Jackson and Alex. Yeah, of course. It's that iambic pentameter. You got to get it going for branding purposes. So you've had quite an exciting journey. And I got to say, this is the first time I've ever been sitting doing a podcast with a Lego master. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised because there's quite a few.
I know, you're just coming out of the woodwork. I can't, oh my gosh. Jeez, I'm lousy with Lego masters. Yeah. But
there's about 7 seasons they've done now. So yeah, there's a few of us knocking around.
And so it's a team that wins. So every time there's a season, there's a winner of, are the teams always 2 people?
Yeah. So for anyone who's not familiar with the show, the format is that they break you up into teams of 2, typically somebody that you know. In this case, it was an old childhood friend of mine.
Yeah.
And they just throw you in a warehouse that's stocked to the brim with as much Lego as you could possibly need. And they give you just weird challenges to get creative, and they judge them on a bunch of different criteria.
As a Lego guy, right, is that the first time that you had been like approached with more Lego than you knew what to do with? I assume that acquiring the Lego, when you're leading up to that, acquiring Lego is in itself, because I've seen YouTube. I follow a bunch of Lego people on YouTube. I know that the acquisition of Lego pieces is in itself already. There's a weird addiction going on there.
Definitely. Like, I mean, I had a childhood fascination with Lego, so I had a pretty healthy collection, more so than most kids. I like to think. But yeah, when you step into the show in the room, the brick pit, they call it. They
The
have
brick pit?
literally millions of bricks. And it was a bit overwhelming at first because suddenly you're just like, oh, I can build anything. Usually when you're building with your Lego collection at home, for most people, you're pretty limited by the parts that are on hand.
Sure.
But the whole point of the show is to, open up the creative options to be practically limitless.
Yeah.
Within reason, of course. There's something like, there's thousands and thousands of individual different Lego pieces, and even more so when you extrapolate that with different color types.
I had this has come up in my own show. I had somebody Google this once on the show. They said there was this. It sounds like it should be more, but I had somebody Google this for me. It was something like 3,408 or something different kinds of Lego bricks. That must not include colors, though.
Yeah, because there's like, I forget, but like 50 plus different colors.
Oh, wah.
Yeah.
It gets nuts.
Yeah. Sorting that stuff it's hard.
So, it seems to me like there would be, if you're building something that uses, there's some pretty weird and obscure bricks. And if you come up with some new building technique, all right, that makes me think of, because I have watched a bunch of these videos, and you're talking about building techniques, and I just reminded myself of something. I know, and I would really love it if you could elaborate on this for me, because it sounds to me to be like a real rebellious thing. I've seen guys who build, and they say there are legal and illegal building techniques. Yeah. So is this like, what constitutes an illegal building technique, and who's policing these illegal building techniques?
Okay,
Yeah.
there's two really clear answers to both those questions.
Okay.
Okay, so what constitutes an illegal building technique
Right.
is any connection of bricks that places stress on the plastic. So Lego is like, it's manufactured to very specific standards, and there are certainly ways to like bend or twist or apply shear force to the Lego.
Yeah.
And any techniques that involve any kind of stepping outside of those strict, rigid rules,
Right.
is technically termed an illegal technique.
Yes.
And the people who police it are Lego enthusiasts. Some can be very particular about illegal techniques.
Okay. Oh, okay. So it's like the community will, like, if you're showing off, like, you know, some creation, and some go, oh, and that's very impressive, but that's an illegal technique you're using there. Yeah.
That's the thing, is that like people who really know Lego can look at it and pick it.
Yeah.
But
well,
it's
like
polarizing
yourself, right? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on illegal building techniques?
Oh, I am totally supportive of legal
Yeah?
building techniques. If it helps you achieve a particular like creative goal, then I'm all for it.
See, that I had a feeling that might be your answer, and I was hoping that was your answer, because I see, you know, some of these guys building stuff, and they go, oh, wow, I can make this really amazing thing if I use this illegal building and somehow it gets a little bit more exciting. You're like, ooh, oh boy. Oh, well now, okay. I guess that makes sense. I hadn't thought about that before, but that's the technical definition, is if it might potentially make the bricks do something that they're not supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
Oh, well, I mean, that's my business all over. When I do my sciencey shows, I mean, using things in ways that were never intended to be used. That's what I'm all about, baby. Yeah, because the result is always way more exciting.
Yeah.
So you've done, I mean, when you go and you must have done a whole bunch of interviews about, you know, Lego stuff, and people just ask you the same old dumb question thing like, how many bricks do you think you've used altogether?
Honestly,
How many
Magnus.
bricks do you have? Do you like Lego? Do you like Lego? Yeah.
That is probably the number one question we get, is how many bricks are in it. And it's
Yeah.
like, man, like
Jesus.
we try to think of it not so much in terms of number of bricks, but number of minifigures, like the little characters that populate our build.
Right.
Mm.
And when you're doing, what they call narrative work, that's everybody's. Well, I hope that's everybody's favorite. I know it's my favorite. Just telling those little, the amazing storytelling that goes on.
Yeah.
In these little still parts.
Well, they're just so, like, these for like tiny, rigid-limbed little plastic people, they can be incredibly expressive.
Right.
There's a whole like range of emotions and expressions that they communicate in their face.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I love particularly about playing with them is that like you can convey so much emotion with like a simple twist of the hand or by positioning the bodies, and create these little tableaus of like really dynamic situations where people, like, these little characters are interacting in really quite human ways.
Yeah. There's, I mean, for figures that basically just, I mean, their body's always facing forward and they can lean forward or back, but they can make a huge difference just if you're slightly leaning in towards what you're seeing or leaning away from it. You know, there's like fear and interest, and then whatever face you put on. Yeah, it is. Is that your favorite part?
Definitely. The favorite part of like, so our builds usually consist of creating like a large scene, a setting, and then we'll populate it with little characters. And that's always the fun bit, when we've built the city or the world that these characters inhabit. And then we get in there and we just have so much fun, just come out with stupid little stories, and we'll give them names, and we'll create whole histories and biographies for these little characters to then like inform the direction of the storytelling.
And you and your like Lego partner work well. We should tell people what it is that you do these days, which is amazing. I've been lucky enough to see like the one exhibition. Where were we? It was in
Adelaide.
In Adelaide, yeah. We're in the Adelaide Museum, and I don't know how many installations there were, but it was honestly, it was an ungodly amount of work. I mean, just to walk in there, you see this is thousands of like work hours.
Yeah, I remember that was the first time I properly met you, and you were like so excited. And I thought,
it was amazing.
This is exactly the response we're trying to elicit.
Well, honestly, yeah, it was. I mean, you had a full size V-dub Beetle that had, you know, like a post-apocalyptic city living inside of it. There was, I mean, oh god, the clock. There was, oh my gosh, you're sending me back. But this is, are you building? Is that the same installations that go to different? You take the same exhibition and go everywhere. Are there pieces that get added on?
Yeah, at the moment, and yes, there are pieces that get added on. So the exhibition that you're talking about, the one that was in Adelaide, it's a touring exhibition that we built for museums that is in the middle of doing a big tour of Australia and New Zealand. So we'll typically we'll fly in somewhere, we'll set it up, we'll leave it there for 3 to 6 months,
right?
And then we'll fly in, pack it up, bring it to the next venue.
Wow.
Yeah. It's So the exhibition itself is it's a collection of old antique objects that have little Lego societies growing inside them.
Yeah.
The concept behind it is that it's like this museum of a past, like a future where humans they've left planet Earth for reasons that we leave a little bit ambiguous deliberately.
Yes.
The implication is that they have they've done themselves in and they've left the planet in ruins. And so the little Lego characters have risen from the debris and they have replaced us as the dominant species on planet Earth.
It's such a great, like, just conceptually, it's just got so much, room to move in there. And I was instantly enamored. It's one of those things. There's that kind of new world rising from the ashes, just as a story generally, is so... It's often very dark, and it's one of those ones that I always gravitate to stuff like that. You know, it's like Cormac McCarthy's The Road and any kind of post-apocalyptic story. But then to have something that I like so much there added with this Lego whimsy that just like smashed together, and it just makes these objects so, just intriguing. Because it really does hit you from both sides at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's why, like, one of the things that has really resonated with people is that, like, you have, like, this old derelict world and there's these old objects that elicit this nostalgic response themselves. Like the old Volkswagen, the old television sets, the arcade machines that we have. But then you mash it up with the bright, colorful world of Lego that people also have this strong emotional connection with. And the sort of the interesting part happens when, like, you see this bright, colorful world represented set within this much more desolate world of the future. Yeah.
It's a really, like, it's a heck of a 1-2 punch. Like, I mean, that nostalgia thing, and then having, I mean, human beings work on stories. I mean, stories is just how we communicate with each other. It's a really, really powerful tool. And having so many stories, and the more you look, the further you look, the more stories come out of the objects.
Yep.
I mean, that's actually something that I would ask when you're working in a team, like there's the two of you who are making these decisions, and how much of it is firstly, do you have like a threshold of what kind of stories you're telling? I mean, when you're talking about how grimdark or how whimsical something would be. You're both sort of on the same page, like tonally. You're aiming for the same spot.
Very much so. Alex and I, we both have a real strong tendency to lean towards the darker side of things.
Right.
But also working with Lego and also working within the museum system, we need to keep it pretty accessible.
Okay. So you don't. I was wondering that if you police each other. Or if there's like people on the outside going like, no, that decapitation scene has got to get out. We can't have that.
Yeah. No, we I think if we didn't have to conform to the expectations of the museum system or that of Lego, for example, I think the product might be a little bit different. But yeah, we love trying to work with the creativity within constraints, right?
Yeah. Well, I went and saw that exhibition in Adelaide. This is 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was 2022.
Yeah,
we opened. Yeah. So yeah, it's been running for close to 2.5 years now.
It's fantastic, man. Well, is this something when you went on the show and then you guys is this something that you were already aiming at beforehand?
Honestly, like that came out of nowhere. Like we went on the show. like, to be honest, on a bit of a whim. Like, we both thought it would be fun. Like, I love Lego when I was a kid, so did Alex, and we thought it'd be kind of fun to go on the TV show.
Right.
Not really taking it too seriously. And then when we got there, we trained real hard. We studied as much as we could to try and make up for like all the years since our childhood that we have spent not playing
Right.
Lego.
Okay.
And then like one thing led to another, and we found ourselves winning that season. But then what happened next was like, I mean, we kind of just thought, oh, we'll just go back to our regular lives and our day jobs, and that'll be that. There's not really
Right.
any, it's not like Australian Idol. There's no obvious pathway from forward
Right.
to forge a career after winning Lego Masters. But when we got back to Perth, COVID hit just as the season was airing.
Oh,
And,
yes.
yeah. And so it was super popular, probably more popular than it would have been. And
Mhm.
we, in the wake of our victory on the show, we were approached by an arts organization, a local nonprofits group called Form, who do fantastic work in the public arts sector in Perth. And they had this big open gallery space that they had an opening in, and they asked us to design and build a Lego exhibition.
Oh,
So-
wow.
So we said yes, and we did that. It was super successful. And then following that, we got the opportunity to build it into an even bigger show, and we just said yes. And I think it's just this like attitude of just saying yes, at the right time.
Your way
Yes,
all the way to the
exactly.
top. Right.
Yeah. And now, we're running the show that's touring around Australia, New Zealand museums, and trying to think of what our next project is going to be.
So coming from a spot where, I mean, as you said, you just really liked Lego. I'm, kind of into it,
Mm.
and then coming along and suddenly being, full of heraldry and awardation for this. You have some people going like, "Who are these guys? I've been like busting my hump in the back of my garage, Legoing it up for years, and these two Johnny-come-latelys are suddenly getting." Yeah, museum installations and curating things all over the country. Like, do you get some of that? You get a bit of like Lego jealousy.
We've had a pretty positive response from the
Yeah.
Lego community so far. I think it's also like what I've realized after doing this for a while. It's not just about the Lego. The Lego is of course one part of it, but
Yeah.
the Lego is actually just the front-facing part of a much bigger machine. That I think between the two of us, in my past career, I was an artist. Alex came from more of an engineering background, so we had this weird cocktail of skills that actually lent itself really well to building touring exhibitions.
Perfect. I mean, that's a perfect combination right there. Okay, having one engineer and one artist. I mean, that's really what Lego is, right? It's this intersection of engineering and creativity.
Yeah, spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on.
Which is just, I mean, that's perfect if you've got somebody from before all of this took off and your life became, brick laden as it so is now, right? You were a graffiti artist.
Mm-hmm.
You were a tattoo artist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which one came first?
Tattooing, definitely.
The tattooing first.
Yeah, but before this current role that I'm doing now, I'd been working in tattoo shops for about 10 years, and I just started to juggle a career in public art as well, like doing murals. I always kind of try and shy away from the term graffiti artist because unlike a lot of people working in that space, I'd never really had that traditional graffiti upbringing.
Right,
I wasn't that tough or cool.
You've got, yeah. Because if you say I'm a graffiti artist, someone's going to come up and say, "Hey, you're not from the streets, man." Yeah. Okay, so I'm a muralist. Yeah. But you had a spray can and you made pretty things on walls.
Yeah. I've been tattooing for about 10 years, and like the last 5 years, I was starting to do like a lot more mural art installations, and then Lego Masters rolled around, so there was this like massive career U-turn. But as you said, like it's really relevant, particularly when you mix the art and the engineering side of it. Because it's an incredibly visual medium, Lego, but it's also like really technical as well. Like you can get real technical with it.
Yeah. I mean, not to bring it up again, because I just love bringing this up any chance I get, but I was late last year, I was touring for 2 weeks with Adam Savage of the Mythbusters.
Amazing.
And if you want to talk about a guy who just loves talking about how engineering and creativity intersect, we had some great conversations about that. And it's always been one of those things I get really fired up about, because I really love the idea of bringing, having the limitations of of physics, basically, and of form and of whatever it is that you're working with.
Mm.
Those being your limitations, making art within that box is a way of unlocking so many amazing ideas.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah, like the old adage of I think came before, like, constraints breed creativity.
Bingo.
Right? And it's like Lego is a way of like even narrowing those constraints even further into a very rigid mathematical system.
Right.
Yeah. It's not just laws of physics, it's also the laws of Lego physics that you have to navigate.
And Lego legality. You don't want to start using illegal techniques. Oh my gosh.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it gets the job done, then yeah, absolutely. Creativity. Yeah. If you have another adage of form follows function, and if the function is look awesome and be cool, then go do whatever the heck you want.
Yeah.
You were just talking about your career pathway.
Yeah.
From being a tattoo artist to, a muralist. Let's say just graffiti guy, right? But, you're doing murals. You're spraying stuff on walls. You're a tattoo artist. There's something I really like about this is you got to have a fairly well-developed sense of cool self-confidence, right? Because you'd be like, hey, because they're both pretty cool. If you're going to be cool, hey, I'm a tattoo artist. It's pretty cool. You're like, oh, hey, I'm a graffiti guy. That's pretty cool. It's like, hey, I do Lego. That's, that's like, are they thankful that you're bringing all of this cool on? But you got to be pretty self-confident and go like, I'm just going to do stuff that I like. Yeah, cool is a trap, right? Lego is awesome. I'm just going to do it.
Well, I think that's like...
What?
Yeah, I think like you can't be cool if you're trying to be cool. That's the
Bingo.
antithesis of being cool.
Bingo. Right.
It's like just do what you want to do. Like do whatever feels good for you. Do whatever you enjoy doing. And like fucking invariably.
That's why I
cool.
started an ant farm.
Exactly. How fucking cool is that?
It's cool as hell.
Right. If
it's
you think
so
it's cool,
awesome.
if you think it's cool and like your energy, your passion that you bring to it, like that's what's fucking cool.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. See. Right. This is one of those things. I think I'm basically mostly asking this question for anyone nervous in the audience, just to make sure that it's cool as hell. Just do the stuff that you love to do, and then it's all going to work out. And before you know it, you'll be flying around the world. Yeah, putting minifigs inside the back of a V-dub.
Yeah,
that's sweet. So, while you're touring around, you said that there's new pieces being added.
Yeah.
How much time do you get to work on stuff? While, let's say you fly to, you go to Rotorua, you go to Auckland or wherever it is that you're showing up. You come in, the museum folks come and greet you. And museum folks are very special kind of folks, right?
Oh, they're lovely.
Yeah, right.
Man, it's been such a shifting gear going from working in tattoo shops to museums. I've really relished it. It's been really cool.
Museum people are just like the sweetest. I got some friends that have worked museums and people in research departments and stuff like that.
And they were super creative as well. Like, honestly, like so many people that we've met through the museum systems we've worked in, like they work at the museum, but they're also like on the side, there'll be like jewelers or sculptors or
bingo,
or have some weird, kooky, creative thing that they love doing.
Yeah.
And the museums, they give them a chance to explore some of that too.
Oh, if you want to talk about people being awesome for just following weird things that they really are passionate about, museums are a great place to meet people like that. Yeah,
definitely.
So you come in, you rock into this museum, you meet the curators, and you're looking through the space, I assume, and you're going, okay, here's basic layouts and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know how much of it is you and Alex going, hey, this is the. I mean, is there a narrative? Is there a form there are pieces you like people to see before others, or do you have to adhere to the space more, or what?
Yeah, loosely. We do try and keep it pretty flexible though, because like every venue is different. Like some museums are like super flashy modern buildings with all the trimmings, and but many are also like really archaic old buildings that you have to like navigate the like really tight little corridors and try to like dodge taxidermy and like the back rooms of museums are fascinating places.
We were talking about this right before. I've got to say, I'm quite jelly beans about that.
Yeah.
That you get to hang out in the back rooms of museums. Because I've just always loved taxidermy. I think if you're talking about making things, if you were let loose, you would go quite dark. And you've got a big love of taxidermy. You know, we're talking about the same kind of stuff here. You know, we just like those same interests. Things that are a bit like metal and a bit gross and a bit like, oh my God, that's freaking amazing. And we were just talking about the flesh-eating beetle box that every taxidermy department has.
Yeah.
Those particular species of beetles that now get sent all over the world.
Yeah.
So that every museum has a magic box that you just put things in and bones come out. Yeah.
Oh man, I remember the first museum that we showed in the Adelaide Museum. They had the same week we were there, like a whale coming in.
Wow.
Yeah, which was like a big deal. They don't usually do that. But oh my God, it stunk.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Well, you're talking about, I mean, not only is it like a sea-bound creature, and whenever you get them out of the water, they sink, but it's also a mammal, so it's got all of that same sweaty gross that we would ordinarily have.
Yeah.
But without all the salt keeping it there. Oh, okay. While we talk about whales and museums, I just have to segue this.
Yeah.
It was night before last. We went and the one of the other producers, Sam, Justin, our producer's business partner, Sam, and I went to the WA Museum. And we went and saw this band called the Lost Keys, which is a bunch of old guys from Fremantle, plus our friend Max, who is not such an old guy, but yeah. And they sing a bunch of old sea shanties and old whaling songs. And they sung it in the room in the WA Museum
so cool.
with the whale, like, skeleton above us. And our friend Max is a lighting designer. So the whole thing was just, bunch of guys going all like, soon may the wind come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. and we're looking up, and there's a goddamn blue whale skeleton above us.
That thing's very impressive.
God, I love museums.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. You can kind of live under the radar doing the museum thing, right? Yeah. Are you a big famey kind of, I want to get all flashy and, paparazzi sort of a guy?
What do you think?
I don't think so. Yeah. I think you're quite a quiet, contemplative guy. How much of the, when it first happened, it must have been like nutso.
Yeah,
right?
totally. Yeah,
and having to deal with a bunch of interviews and people asking you the same dumb questions over and over again. And you have some like poster behind you and someone, from some place going, oh, wow, how many bricks are in your face? Yeah. Right. That sort of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'd never done any sort of media or TV or anything like that before. And to be honest, when I look back and watch myself on there, I'm just like, man, like, clearly. but you're right. Since then, like, we have, we did a lot of publicity around the TV show, but then also with the exhibition since then, definitely got a lot more comfortable with it. But I think, like, it's a question I got asked a lot at the time of the show. A lot of friends, family were like, well, how are you nervous about the way you're going to be portrayed? Like, how are you feeling about being on TV? Was it weird having all the cameras around? And to be honest, like, it never really bothered me. I guess I didn't really think too much about it.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I was always really aware of, like, like, you are entering into this agreement with the production company that they can use you and your likeness for whatever they want to do.
Sure.
And, by jumping on the show, you agree with the consequences of that. Unfortunately, Lego Masters is a really wholesome show. So no one's really made out to be a villain. And the portrayals were pretty accurate and pretty generous, I gotta say.
I guess that is, it just wouldn't fit tonally, would it? It's like, Lego, yay, happy Lego. Plus, this guy's a prick. Oh, who'll he stab in the back today? But no, it's just a whole bunch of guys going, hey, do you like Lego? I like Lego. Wow, we're best friends. We have some bricks. Yeah, that would be way more fun. Most of the guests that we have on the podcast here are just always, attention whoring, showbiz types.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you're probably the first time we've had somebody on who is who's going to talk to us like genuinely and sincerely about how they feel about what it's like. This is what a regular mentally healthy person would say about having cameras in their face and stuff. So that's very illuminating for me. Yeah. But it's, if you can kind of logic it away, there's always these reminders of the cameras around you all the time, and you can go, so your response is basically to go, well, I signed the thing.
Yeah,
I understand how this works.
Yeah.
I'm just
here to build Lego.
Bam.
Yeah.
Man, now that should go on a shirt. That's yeah. I just came here to chew bubblegum and build Lego. I'm all out of bubblegum. Bam. God damn.
Yeah.
So what's the there's no end to this, really. It's not like someone was going to go, I mean, you basically do this until you drop, right?
I mean, look, I think I've found where I want to be for now. Like,
yeah,
don't get me wrong. Like, I do miss tattooing. I do miss painting a lot. But also, like, this is just.
But there's nothing stopping you doing that as well, right?
No. But I mean, like what Alex and I are trying to build with the exhibition and the Lego artwork that we want to create. We do really want to take it bigger and bigger, and I think we feel like we're really onto something. And it's, I mean, honestly, if you were to ask like little kid Jackson, like, hey, you're gonna this is gonna be a job when you're an adult, like he'd be stoked.
Oh, and yeah, I feel that way very often. I'm just pinching myself, and you go through a lot of different trials and errors because there's some, there's something creatively you get out of tattooing, and you're like, this, I really like this this part of it, I really like. There's some other things maybe I don't, but I know I like this. And then you go, okay, well, now I can go do mural art, and I know, there's some of this that I really like, and I know. And it seems like fairly quickly you just, bam, this opportunity presented itself.
Yeah.
I mean, did you really think that it would fit you as well as it has?
I think I've grown into it. I think we both have really grown into it, because I guess like this job, I don't think it really existed, so we just kind of made it for ourselves.
Right. Yeah.
But it's been a wild ride, and I think like just like it feels like it's getting more and more complex. Like, it's not just, like I said, building Lego. It's also like navigating the museum system and like learning boring shit like how to handle international freight logistics and stuff like that. Like, but it's all part.
That's
of
why you have an engineer on your task. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it's it's so different to anything I ever thought I would be doing. But I'm very grateful to be here.
Well, yeah, I mean, also the fact that a job like this didn't really exist means you kind of have a lot of sway over what the job is.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to decide really what that job is and forge your own path somewhat.
Yeah, I mean, as long as people still want to see our exhibitions, we'll still make them.
I can't see how they wouldn't. Like, I mean, if anyone who's seen like a still of it, or if there's like promotional material, instantly you just want to go see it. I don't know if maybe it's just me. I don't know if I'm necessarily the target demographic, or if the target demographic is just people that like stuff that's awesome. I think that's just it.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. Like,
yeah,
like it's like when you're trying to market something to everybody with an imagination, that's pretty hard.
Yeah,
but the reality is that like that's what it's for. It's for anybody who likes storytelling, anybody who likes who wants to like reconnect with a sense of play, like which is something like so few of us get the chance to play like kids in our adult lives.
That has been just a concept, just a topic that has been coming up surprisingly often
with other guests.
Oh yeah, with other guests and just in conversations. Just it's something that I think is really resonating with people, and there's something about it that is more important than people have actually given it credit for in the past.
Yeah.
There's I feel some kind of a sea change or something going on that people are going, hold on a minute. This is really important for people to do.
Yeah, I think people just need to be given license to feel that sense of play, right? And like for many adults, like I think Lego can definitely do that. And we hope that that's what our exhibition can bring for people as well. But I think we're not often collectively given enough excuses to play and be silly.
Oh
you know,
yeah.
as grown-ups.
This is we've had I mean, we're definitely choosing our guests wisely because we've had a couple of other guests who have said almost that exact same sentiment. All right, we had Jeremiah in here before. He said a very similar thing. It's a clown. He does clowning workshops.
Yeah, cool.
He's a great clown. I mean, we just had David Erickson on here. You've seen David's show.
I did.
Yeah.
I saw it on Friday.
When you're talking about
fantastic.
grown-ups playing, there's a lot of that.
Yeah, but it looks different for everybody as well. Like,
yes,
you know, like it
very true.
It doesn't have to be something as overtly silly as clowning.
Yeah,
you know, like those guys do and do so well. It can be something, something as Ian was looking as just like playing with Lego.
Sure, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, that's this thing about play is that it's kind of a goofy term, right? And it seems like it's very easy for a lot of people to dismiss it, right? You know, like grown-ups should play, and if people go, well, that's stupid. Get to work. What are you doing? What are you achieving by that?
Yeah.
But
so how would you define it?
Yeah. How would I define it?
Yeah. How like play? How would you define that?
Well, it should be about just letting it, for me anyway, because I get the ADHD up the wazoo, right?
Yeah.
For me, it's every now and again I get those days where I get to just just pull the ripcord and let my brain start bouncing around.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
There's when I don't have to mask for anybody, and whatever weird idea my brain comes up with, that's what I go with. Until 20 minutes later when it gives me a new one, I go for that.
Yeah.
But it's about for me, it's bashing things together, and the crux of it, if you really want to get down to the real crux of it, it's really about figuring things out about yourself and your relationship to the world and to other people by giving yourself room to engage with the world and other people in a more genuine way than you ordinarily would be given license to do.
That's a brilliant definition. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I just came up with that.
No,
Fuck,
that's
I'm
really
smart
good.
as hell.
Kind of echoes like what I was swirling around in my own brain. I think like similarly, like for me, it's like about giving yourself the license to be silly and having autonomy over that, like without judgment or like without the concern of judgment from other people, not doing it for other people.
Yeah.
Just like if you want to sit there and like you want to like go to your local pub in a pirate suit, like that, just do that. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like it's but I think there's a lot of obstacles that mental obstacles that people have to being playful.
There's two of them that come immediately to mind when people have this the obstacles, and which is really a shame because it really is a chance to look inward, right? And this is an important thing for people to develop. You know, you talk about levels of consciousness.
It takes practice.
Yeah, it does. But there are hurdles to that I think, unfortunately, a lot of people have to get over. Firstly, is you have to be okay with looking foolish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is one of the most rewarding hurdles to overcome. If you're all right to look stupid and to like look foolish or not care about looking foolish in front of other people or even to yourself, it's amazing. Incredible psychological doors just fly open for you. Yeah. And other one, which is kind of a similar thing, but perhaps in a more refined state, is there are so many people out there, and I talk about this in my science show in Kaboom because I get a lot of like neurospicy kids in there, and a lot of kids that I'm hoping to get some sort of message like this across is kids that are really afraid of being wrong. They just are. They have this weird anxiety about saying something wrong or being incorrect about something, which, I mean, as anyone who works in a museum or anyone who kind of follows these weird passions knows, if being wrong about something is fabulously rewarding. It's great being wrong. That's how you find out new stuff. Yeah, by trying to fit I mean, you'll never know which peg goes in which hole until you try a bunch of the incorrect ones. And you go, oh, wow, this is amazing. Oh, look, it's a whole new ball game.
Yeah, and the journey you took to get there.
Yeah, exactly. But those are one of those things where you learn things about yourself while you're making these mistakes. I mean, yeah. And boy, oh boy, have I made some mistakes, baby. Yeah, you better believe it. Oh, man, I had some doozies. Woo! God, there's still some countries I'm not allowed back into. But that's a whole other thing. But yeah, that's really, that must be something that you hope people take away from seeing your exhibition, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Not overtly necessarily, but they would, how would you, I mean, how much of that is in your process while you're putting these stories together or choosing, what to present?
Yeah. Well, how much of like that sense of play is in the storytelling?
Well,
the creation of the stories.
How do you get that across? I mean, that's something that you want people to leave with. Yeah. How do you translate that to people, or how do you present something that hopefully will get into their heads?
I think, to be quite frank, I think the Lego does a lot of the heavy lifting for us, because people they have this like
that's a fair cop.
Everybody has a bit of almost everyone has some kind of connection to it, whether they play with it themselves as kids or as adults, or if their kids play with it. And I think it is primarily it is a children's toy, so people approach it with that sort of sense of silliness and play.
Yeah,
but I think what I hope is that by presenting it in this more like serious, mature, like museum friendly kind of way, people can question like if this can if this content can be presented in this way, then like, oh, maybe things don't have to be so serious,
right? But that's a very powerful message just in itself. The fact that it exists at all, people just show up and go, I'm in a museum, there's a goddamn jukebox full of Lego people. What? Yeah. I mean, that in itself is that's an image that stays with you, and you go, oh, I really need to mull this over. Yeah. It gives people license to be, well, maybe the guy that sees that is going to go to his accounting job the next day in a pirate costume.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean,
hopefully.
I hope somebody has felt inspired enough from seeing our exhibition to change their professional attire in that way. But
there is a whole batch of costumes over here. Man, we gotta look, if there are any beleaguered accountants or bookkeepers or people with just shitty soul crushing jobs out there, just reach out, get on the Instagram or email us or something, and we'll find a way to dress you up in a stupid outfit and send you back to work. Yeah.
Please do.
Until you realize, and then when you're sitting there hopefully for about 5 minutes, you'll look around and go, this is fucking stupid. I'm gonna go make Lego. I gotta get out of here. I need a better and more life fulfilling creative job. Yeah.
We've definitely had a few reports of from parents of kids going home after seeing the exhibition and starting to jam Lego inside microwaves and toasters, which has been incredibly rewarding for us.
Oh boy. Oh man. Oh yeah. I get that one as well. Like kids who come and see because Kaboom, my science show, has got a lot of weird chemistry and stuff in it, and I keep as a joke, telling, hey, go ahead, go blow something up. Go mix things together until something happens. And then I get messages from these parents go, everything under the sink is now mixed together. I don't know what kind of corrosive enzyme we've been making here. Yeah. Jamming things. Man, thank God people don't have like VCRs anymore, because that's like a classic, man. Kids sticking stuff into VCRs. God damn. Jackson
Magnus,
I've just had an amazing idea.
Go on.
Okay. Well, you do Lego. We like Lego. What does it take? What kind of begging and pleading and monetary funds does it take to get a museum curated Lego master to have something onwards to victory related. Would you make Lego for us? Would you ever do something like that for us? Would you do something?
Well,
what do I got to do? What?
It's funny actually. When I walked into the room, I was looking at all this stuff that you have here, and like when you work with Lego all day every day, your brain starts to see the world in Lego often.
You're gonna translate everything into
kind of like like the Tetris effect, right? Like you play heaps of Tetris and you start seeing the world in Tetris shapes.
Right.
It's the same thing. Like, and I definitely walked in here, and there are a few features here that like lend themselves really well to Lego.
Oh yeah.
So I think we could probably do something like a recreation of the studio.
I would. The whole that would be amazing. I would.
I mean, I don't know how we're gonna make it like the really tiny details.
Yeah.
But we can definitely find a minifigure for you.
Do they? Yeah. This mustachioed. Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh, there are so many mustachioed minifigures. Like, to find one that looks like you won't be hard.
Oh my god. Oh, that would be absolutely amazing. That would. This could have. Okay. This thing. Oh, that would be fantastic. All right, I'm not gonna. I know you're very busy. I'm not gonna. I'll wait until the heat death of the universe if I have to. It's totally fine. But yeah. Oh my gosh, that would be absolutely amazing. But that's something I do want to talk about.
Yeah.
Is being. I mean, kind of when you first started, you and Alex are kind of relative greenhorns. You know that you were like into it. Right? And you thought you buckled down and like, okay, we're gonna learn stuff. We need to learn how to do this. What did that look like? And what sort of things have you taken away from that? Because the way you're talking about now, you look around and see everything in the Tetris effect. This is something that really would fascinate me. Is there's got to be items or just particular objects that you see, and some specific brick or some specific piece will come into your head and go, yeah, I can use that to make this other thing.
Absolutely.
In minifigure scale. Yeah.
Particularly like architectural features, like walking past old buildings and like, I remember like Alex and I had this one moment like when we were filming Lego Masters and it was on the weekend. We were wandering around Melbourne, which is where it was shot. And like we were just walking and we just went silent for a second and like went past this really cool building. And we both looked at each other and we're just like, you're building that in your head out of Lego, aren't you? And I was like, yep.
Yeah. Okay. While we're talking about all of this, really, this is touching on so many of the things I just love about just talking creativity and talking engineering stuff. Is that other thing is when you're working with somebody, when you start developing that shorthand, that creative shorthand, when the other person knows, when you have this weird little language, and oftentimes it can be silent. You just know each other's way of working, and you get to go, even like a grunt or something, and they just will hand you the piece that you know you're talking about.
Yeah.
But there's no way in hell anyone else in the universe would know what you're talking about, and it just that you get that flow state when you get a 2-person flow state going, and it's just. Yeah,
it's
miraculous.
Great. Like, when you're really flowing with the ideas. I'm not sure if we're quite like transcended to grunt level yet.
Okay,
but Alex
but you must definitely have some cool jingo shorthand.
Definitely. And Alex has definitely gotten really good at understanding like my really erratic sketches in a way that I don't think anybody else could. But there's also, to touch on language, there is actually like heaps of shorthand with like Lego parts. So we'll just blurt out something like, "Oh, can you give me the 1x2x5 like bluish gray panel section?" And people are like, "Yep, here you go."
Yeah. How much of that is like universal? Like there's a Lego community language, I'm sure.
Yeah, there is.
That where you go like 1x2x5 panel. Yeah.
Yeah.
And are there any weird names that you can tell me? Because this is gonna just like tickle a part of my brain that you don't understand how much I love this stuff. That like specific weird names for some specific weird brick. Like it might have come like a past build or something. You're going like you used a lot of XYZ or send me the jukebox brain or the I don't know. It's impossible to know what they are, but whenever you hear them, and then figure out why they're called that. It just there's this part of my brain that goes, oh yeah, it's so good.
I got one for you.
Yeah.
Nub.
Okay.
Do you want to have a stab at what a nub is?
Okay. Is it? Oh, is it? And this is going to be like a reasonable, educated guess. I don't think I'm right, but for a nub for me would be like, those little round like lever pieces, but you take the lever out. Yeah.
Close.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just a little single round stud, like the tiniest Lego piece that you can get.
Oh, the little round.
Yeah. Which
like the money in the Lego games.
Yeah,
right.
Similar.
Yeah.
But we'll just be like, oh, have you got the nubs? Where's the bucket of nubs?
Bucket of nubs. So the round, because there are like one tile square pieces.
Yeah.
You talk about the little round ones.
Round boys, yeah.
That's a nub.
Yeah.
Well, you've got transparent nubs. You got various colored nubs.
So many nubs.
Yeah.
All sorts of nubs.
Nubs, and then you can pile your nubs on top of each other. You make cathode electrodes and stuff. God. Oh yeah, man. If you've got enough nubs, one can make just about anything. Hey. But yeah, that's an interesting thing. Talking about, to go back to the training, Jackson Alex training montage.
Oh, we had a serious montage.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a big part of that was because we were both keenly aware that we hadn't really touched Lego in a meaningful way since we were teenagers.
Yeah.
And then we thought, well, fuck, we're about to go on national TV. We don't want to look like complete idiots.
Yeah.
So we brought all the Lego that we had. Like we got about 6 weeks notice that we were going to go on the show. So we thought, all right, let's bring all our Lego into my art studio at the time.
Right.
And got rid of all the paints, got rid of all the other shit, and we just set up like a replica as best as we could of the brick pit on Lego Masters.
Got it.
And just put ourselves through like all these drills and training sessions every day after work. We'd be in there training for this thing. And then we got there.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like we brought all our Lego over from Perth and set up in the hotel room. And so we'd go shoot at the studio all day and then come home and then just practice and practice and practice.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I assume when you leave the studio every day, somebody pats you down to make sure you're not like absconding with bricks, right? You have like pockets full of 2x5s or something. You'd be like,
I'm not allowed to comment on that one, Magnus. Sorry.
No,
I can't offer any comment. But
take the fifth. Oh man. But there, when you were doing the training, and you said you just got all the Lego that you had, that I assume that means you took apart, because you would have had stuff that was built. If you already had Lego, you would have had sets that were built.
Oh, so
did
you're
you take
about
things
to
apart?
open a can of worms here, Magnus. So
yeah.
There are two very distinct types of people who play with Lego.
There are
people who build the sets.
Yeah.
And they keep the sets intact and they display the sets and they love the sets. And
right.
They never disassemble them.
Got it.
And for them, it's more about the sort of the following the instructions and the act of putting the set together. And then you have the other camp who, this was me as a kid. Yeah. You build the set once and then you tear it apart and you throw it in the pile with all the other disassembled sets.
Yeah.
And then you play with it in a more creative way.
Yeah.
So, there's no wrong or right way to play with Lego, but the way that
the right way is clearly to take them apart and be more creative.
The right way for me and the right way for many people, but also the right way to be honest, the right way to win the show, because that's what it was. It was a creative competition.
Yeah. They don't give out prizes for following instructions.
No.
Wow, that's actually like surprisingly prophetic and profound there. I didn't think that they don't give out prizes for following instructions. Unless you're in the army. I think that, they do. That's different though. That's a whole different ball game. Yeah. What is going to be next? Like
what's next?
Just like pie in the sky. If you've got a, let's say, I don't know, like a Warhammer or Trench Crusade.
Yeah.
Or one of those like super grimdarky guys, or just I don't know. What if there's a like Mayhem are reforming or something, and they come to you and be like, We want a Lego album art. All right,
Oh, dude, we've actually.
Has this happened?
This has actually happened.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
What? Oh, tell me. Oh, this is gonna be a great story.
Oh, dude. So after the show, like all the publicity that ensued it, Violent Soho hit us up to build a like a recreation of one of their album covers for release, and we were super keen to do it. Alex, particularly, big fan.
Right.
But unfortunately, at that point we had to run everything by the Channel 9 executives to get approval, and they red stamped that one pretty hard. They were like,
Wow.
no, not at all appropriate for our audiences. And it was like, man,
dude.
But yeah, we got another offer from a beer company wanted to commission us to like build a minifig scale version of their brewery.
Yeah.
But similarly, they were just like, no alcohol products.
Wow.
We have been
was that from the Channel 9 folks or the Lego
Channel
folks?
9 folks, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. We didn't really have anything to directly to do with the Lego folks.
I do know in the in Lego rule, the only rule that they do have is they don't do military stuff.
Yeah, they have a weird line with that though. Like
I know that. Okay, do you know about this? We can get into this thing with like the Osprey. Do you know about this one?
Yes. Yeah, they discontinued it, didn't they?
Yeah, because there was. I mean, it's a really cool helicopter bird thing, but it also like can function as a military vehicle. So they discontinued it.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things like it's a big collector's item and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of those things that Lego they're really quite adamant about.
But they have this weird like double standard with it where they modern military and warfare representations are a hard no, but it's like if you just go back far enough in history, it becomes okay. Like you have like
they got the knights and pirates and castles.
Yeah, pirates with like their massive pistols, like like soldiers and stuff from earlier times.
Yeah.
And I think this is like I think this sorry, but about to sort of like sideways to something else here, but I think
that's what this is all about, baby. Go for it.
Because I think it's like representative of this way that we have of looking at like violence and trauma in history, where it's okay to laugh or to glorify or to make light of trauma earlier than a certain point, and that of course is shifting as time goes on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, we look at stuff like that. It's like, pirates, they used to like brutally mutilate each other and knights and castles and stuff, and that's cool because that was like 700 years ago. So modern representations of military are not okay, whereas really it's all kind of the same conflict.
It is kind of a weird way of thinking. I mean, people in the past suffered just as badly as somebody from today would. If you hit them with a stick. Yeah,
but we find it easier to laugh at the misfortune of people who are far enough back in history.
Well, that's once it gets far enough back. I mean, comedy's tragedy plus time, right? That's what they say. It is an interesting one. There was somebody else that I was talking on this particular topic about, and that people from the Middle Ages, they suffered just as horribly. But if you've got a bunch of like plastic minifigs cutting each other up with halberds and stuff, it's somehow way more palatable. Yeah, I wonder how much of that is that no one in the modern day, there's no child that's actually in danger of being, punctured with a halberd. But there is a danger that, some sort of rocket-propelled grenade will, injure them. I don't know. That's a question. That would take a lot longer I'm pretty sure you and I together, we could unpack that one properly. But I have a feeling that we're going to run out of time. We'll take that up on round 2. Round 2, we're going to talk about global conflict. Yeah, round 1, we're going to talk about creativity and Lego. And round 2, we're going to talk about global conflict and, people exploding.
Yeah. And tasteful representations of Lego.
Of course.
Yeah.
Very, always tasteful. Always tasteful.
Would you like to know some more about Lego's weird guidelines?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Have you got some?
Yeah. Have you heard about the nipple policy?
Not the Lego one, but I mean the nipple policy.
I'm sure you have your own nipple policy, but Lego specifically.
More of them, please. That's my policy. But yeah, what's Lego's take on nipples?
They are staunchly anti-nipple. So even
okay.
So even in the modern era, there are a whole range of bare-chested male torsos. not a single one has nipples.
All right.
They for whatever reason they've decided that that's not an accurate representation for Lego.
Right. Well, okay.
Okay, we could go into a space here that is definitely
Less
less
PG.
rated.
Yeah. But
and which I would very much love to go down.
Yeah,
but,
I know, but this, we're gonna, because you're a hero to so many children. There's gonna have a lot more children like watching this episode than any of the other ones. So we can't go talking. Yeah.
We'll save the nipple policy for another one.
Yeah, but that is fascinating.
Mm.
I mean, I imagine it's just because if you had a male torso that had nipples on, it doesn't take much for some kid with a marker to go boobies, right? I mean, hundreds of kids everywhere are going to be doing that. It's like, just get a boy one and draw some boobs. Yeah. Oh gosh, can't have like topless minifigs walking around. It just goes against. That's not whimsy. That's not whimsy. Nipples and whimsy don't mix. Actually, that's sometimes I do, but that's for another time. Yeah, about that differently. So, if you had, we kind of didn't get quite near it, but I do want to say, if you had carte blanche, right, who are you answerable to now? Like, I mean, it's
what, professionally or?
Well, yeah, like creatively,
yeah.
Are you policing yourself when it comes to making you think, because it's got to fit in a museum. You know what the audience is.
I think that's a really good point actually, because it's sort of like that, that recurrent question with creative endeavors. It's like, okay, who are you creating this for? Like, how much do you try to influence your creation for the audience versus how much do you do it for yourself?
It's a really important question.
Yeah. And the reality is, like as we touched on, like when your chosen medium is a globally recognized, well-loved children's toy, which is also owned by a very powerful corporation,
right?
You do need to operate within those constraints.
So
I guess in a way, like we are sort of policed indirectly by Lego, the fact that we have chosen Lego.
But it's you don't have like you don't have a knock on the hotel room door and some guy in a coat shows up and be like, "You better watch yourself." Yeah, that doesn't happen. It's just common sense stuff.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. It is.
Oh, that's
there are some like official guidelines which we always make sure that we check up on and make sure that that everything we're doing is in line with those.
Sure.
But honestly, for the most part, Lego, the company, are pretty liberal with. They're pretty supportive of people using the product in a creative way because,
well, yeah,
I mean, for obvious reasons, right? And we've never really felt like we never felt like we've had to change what we want to do too much.
Yeah, you want people to make whatever that's the whole drawing power. Make whatever the heck you want out of it. I mean, can you imagine if like Play-Doh was knocking on people's doors and saying, "I don't know, I don't want you making any of that." No. Like plasticine companies going, "Oh, hey, that's a bit of a weird scenario you're making there." No historical figures. Yeah. Jackson.
Magnus.
Jackson. God damn, you're just fabulously. What a delight to have, such a well-balanced, articulate person in here instead of all these showbiz fucking weirdos that we always have.
I gotta say, there's a part of me that was like a little bit nervous that like I wouldn't be able to.
That you wouldn't be
stand up to those kind of guys?
Hell no.
The other guys you've had on here have been fantastic.
We do get. I do some very intriguing and talented friends, but it really is. I think what makes like a podcast makes something that people want to listen to is, you get a little bit into the nitty gritty and find out people's reasons for doing what they're doing, and along the way sometimes we'll have some very off-kilter stories that can happen as well. Yeah, chances are this will be the cleanest episode that we're having in a very long time. Undeniably fascinating, and just getting to talk creative process with someone in a different industry of creative process is, oh God, I could do this all day. It's beautiful. However, if dancing man don't dance, dancing man don't eat. So I'm going to go off and while Can I say what it is I have to go up and do?
Please, I'm so intrigued.
We have to get out of here because I have to go and MC the Artist Bar Jelly Wrestling this evening.
I mean, that sounds like a pretty good excuse.
You know what? As attractive and jelly covered as all of these people are, Jackson, I'd still rather be here talking to you about Lego. It's true, folks. Beautiful people, lovely listeners of the Onwards to Victory podcast. Please join me in thanking the fabulous, the amazing, and tremendously wonderful Jackson Harvey for, donating some of his time to talk to us here. Thank you. Make sure you hit the likes, do the comments. I'm going to say all of this stuff. You know what it is. Feed the algorithm. Pick up shovel of coal in the form of a comment and shove it in the algorithm's face. Keep that goddamn fires of infrastructure turning because, we want to keep doing this for a very long time and keep talking to interesting folks like my guest Jackson here. Join the Patreon. If you really like what we do and you want to help us out, get on the Patreon. Be like Tone or Ton. We're still not sure exactly how to pronounce your name, Ton, but send us a message so I stop screwing it up. Be like Ton. Join the Patreon. And then, unlike Lego, you'll get to see my nipples. All right. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. You've been watching Onwards to Victory. Woo!
Don't you know we all cheer for Magnus Danger
Bucket of nubs.